back to another edition of the Pagcast. I'm your host, Michael Pagani, joined alongside Lincoln Stars forward Tanner Ludtke. Tanner, welcome to the Pagcast. Thank you again for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
How have you been doing recently? Obviously, you guys are coming off a huge Game 3 win. Just talk about that.
Yeah, I mean it's been good. Obviously I think for us playoffs is a little different just because not a ton of us have a bunch of experience in it. But I think we've handled it really well, and obviously got a big game 3 win yesterday, so we're moving on, which is always good.
What did you think of your series against the Waterloo Blackhawks?
Wait, what was that?
What did you think of your series against the Waterloo Blackhawks?
I mean, we knew it was going to be tough. So honestly, when we went in there, what was it, Friday, and we won 7-2, we were maybe a little bit, I don't want to say shocked, but just like, wow, that was different than we expected. But obviously they're a good team, they're a good club, and they battled back Saturday, so we knew it was going to be a dogfight. But I think we just knew we had to play good every night, and even with the exception of Saturday night, we were able to get it done, which was good.
Talk to me about that Game 3. What were the emotions like? Were there any nerves that you had?
I don't think there was too many nerves. I think it was just like obviously realizing what was at stake, and still being able to play confident through it, which was big. But yeah, no, it was super fun. Their barn was filled, and they got such a tough crowd sometimes, so that was fun too. But overall, just a really good experience.
Was there a play growing up who you wanted to model your game after?
Uh, I would say when I was a kid, probably like I loved watching like Sid and Jonathan Taves. Obviously now different guys in the league, maybe Nathan McKinnon, stuff like that I love watching. But I would say guys that I model my game after would be like Braden Shen on the St. Louis Blues, Lars Eller on the Colorado Avalanche, stuff like that.
Any of the Avalanche playoffs?
Have I watched any?
Yeah.
We watched a little bit last night on the bus, so that was tough when they didn't pull through.
The playoffs have been so crazy this year, both obviously in EuroLeague and the NHL. It's been so much fun to watch.
Yeah, and being a Minnesota fan too, like that was tough. We can't make it out of the first round right now, but hopefully we'll pull through soon.
A great core there with Minnesota. It's kind of surprising with all the first round and even second round, exits. We're kind of waiting on that deep playoff run that they're supposed to make.
Oh, for sure. Like looking at their team, like they're starting to have the group, and like with Faber coming in now from Minnesota, like I think they're going to be really good here in the next few years.
State of hockey, are you a fan of other teams? Did you go to many Golden Gopher games?
I would say growing up, I was always a Bulldogs fan, UMD. But obviously I went to a few Gopher games, and I don't know, just as a Minnesota kid, I wasn't say I was totally drawn to the Gophers. But obviously it was right there, so you'd always go sometimes.
Vikings by chance?
Little bit of a Vikes fan. I would say, yeah, for football, they're probably my favorite team. So, not a huge football guy, but I enjoy watching it.
Have that upper edge over me. I'm a Bills fan myself, so the Vikings did kind of surprise the Bills in that regular season game last year. But
Yeah.
It's crazy. I love sports.
Yeah, no, that was wild. We were watching it here at the Billet House actually, and it was just like crazy because there was a couple Bills fans too, so it was fun.
Oh, you must have been giving it to them then, right?
Yeah, no, it was big.
Just throwing all the troops possible their way.
100%.
What's you to get into hockey?
I would say honestly, just like my parents just put me in it like right when I was 2, and ever since then I fell in love with it. And just kind of kept playing it, and I would say probably when I was like 9 or 10 with other sports I was playing too, I was like, all right, this is the one I want to focus on. And yeah, since then it's just kind of been the only thing that I've been doing sports wise.
What other sports did you grow up playing?
I mean, we live on a golf course back home, so we play a lot of golf in the summers. And then I played football for a little bit, and then that stopped around 6th grade. But yeah, Now I'd say probably just golf and a couple of the guys here we get into pickleball every now and then, so that's been fun.
This ain't the little itty bitty teeny tiny bowl. This is Super Bowl 59. Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 59. Scoring touchdowns is key to hoisting the Vince Lombardi Trophy, and you have a shot to score big by betting on them at DraftKings Sportsbook, the number one place to bet touchdowns. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Only like a hockey player growing up. I never played any other sport.
Yeah.
All my chips into hockey.
No, a lot of guys do, like, and now you'll hear about it. Like, there's like 4 sport athletes and they're sick at hockey, and I'm like, how do you do this? Where like you're able to balance all. But I honestly think like the breakaway from the game is so crucial at certain times. So, I think that's where other sports are nice when you're still young.
I agree with that. You obviously need to take a break from that main sport at some point, right?
Yeah, for sure.
How did you have to change your workouts, or how did you adapt to the pandemic?
Yeah, I would say that was tough, but I think for me, like I was fortunate enough to have my aunt and uncle own like a Snap Fitness or whatnot, so it was right next to my house, and being able to go there and still use a gym, and they had like tiles for shooting pucks and everything, so I was still able to train 4 days a week, which was awesome, but obviously not being able to get on the ice and skate was definitely hard at times, but I think it also allowed me to work on other things in my life, which was big.
Yeah, I mean, look, here in Ontario, most of the things were shut down. There was no rinks or facilities that were open during the pandemic. It really kind of put, hockey players that wanted to develop their game into a tough position.
Yeah, no, totally. It made you have to adapt, I think. And obviously, like, no one truly likes doing that at a time like that. But again, I think it allowed me to work on other things that were going on in my life, which was big and nice, but it was definitely hard not being on the ice, that was for sure.
What do you remember about the world shutting down?
Um, I mean, I think the biggest thing like I remember is just like I never really got like a high school experience, I think. My freshman year, like kind of got like halfway through and then it all collapsed. And then my sophomore year wasn't the same. Junior year I was in Lincoln, senior year I was in Lincoln here. So I would say probably just the first 2 years of missing out on all the high school stuff and whatnot.
I can relate to that because I won valedictorian for my graduating class, but I had to do it online. Like all my graduation was online. We didn't get a prom, so yeah. Like even
Yeah,
my school year was thrown to the shits. So it was
yeah, just
terrible.
brutal.
Yeah, it was brutal. Thank God we're out of it. I'm happy that there is some kids that finally get a high school experience. But it's like, dude, I got ripped away, man.
Yeah, no, it sucks. But again, like, I believe everything happens for a reason. So you kind of got to fall back on that. But it was super tough.
What's your hockey career here? Before joining Lincoln, you played with Lakeville South High, scoring 50 points in 23 games. How good did it feel to get into a groove offensively?
Yeah, I think that was big. Obviously, I wanted to have a big sophomore year. I felt, we had a really good team. We made it to the state championship that year and actually lost in double OT. But I felt like just having such a good year then and being able to kind of keep that momentum rolling into my sophomore or my junior season and then into here. But I felt like that was kind of the start of when I was like, all right, like let's turn this up.
What was that like playing in that double overtime? I mean, that is a lot of hockey in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, it was nuts. I mean, obviously like playing EP too. Like you got guys like Middlestead and Blake on the ice, Lang and Brenner. Like it was filled with talent out there. So it was super fun. But I think I just remember like it was my second shift in the double OT and I got off because I started to cramp, and the trainer went to go get me water, and then they scored, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is brutal. So I don't
That
know, like
is so tough.
yeah, it was starting to get tough, and then sure enough, it ended. So I don't know.
Joining the Stars.
Um, I loved it. I mean, obviously last year was a little bit of adapting just because, I wasn't playing a ton and I was kind of bottom on the lineup. But I think I still learned a lot just from the growth aspect, and now being here this year and being a guy that's being able to play in a lot of situations has been awesome. So I've loved it though. I've loved my time here in Lincoln, and the relationships I've built have been awesome.
In 21-22, you played the majority of the year with the Lakeville South High, but ended up playing some playoff games with the Stars. How did that help you this year?
Yeah, I think it just kind of, me, like going through it once, you kind of just like have already been through the experience a little bit. And obviously it was only a 3 games because we lost last year, but I still think just that little piece of experience last year has helped me a lot this year to not get too wrapped up in the moment. And again, it was a game 3 last year. So, the game 3 this year just didn't feel like a ton of pressure and stuff in that situation because we've already been through it once. So I think it helped for sure a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was just about to say, like, you've been through that. You know what it's like to be on the losing end. Now you've been on the winning end.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, last year was Waterloo too that beat us in our home rink, so it was nice to go there and win. Felt good.
You were named captain of Lakeville, during that season. What did that mean to you to be named part of that leadership group?
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, obviously, that was something I wanted, and I wanted to chase, and obviously, it comes with some big responsibilities. But I felt like it was just cool to kind of be able to lead a team and be a junior, still a little bit younger of an age, and still have to earn the respect of guys every day. But yeah, just being able to lead there and then bring some of those leadership abilities here where I don't wear a letter, but still have a voice in the room and be able to contribute that way.
This was your first full season with the Stars. How big of a jump was it from Lakeville to the Stars?
I think it was hard. I think that's why last year was so crucial just to play before and after with the Stars, just because I got to experience what juniors really is. And obviously last year, you weren't playing a ton, so you had to learn how to play away from the puck and play maybe when you're not, or like how to contribute when you're not scoring and stuff like that. And obviously this year I get some more opportunities to score and stuff, so that's been nice. But I've loved it. Obviously, it's a little bit of a jump just with the speed and pace and everything, but I felt like it hasn't been too hard.
We'll talk about those opportunities. You were the team's leading goal scorer with 32. How good does it feel to earn the trust of the coaches to be put in those situations?
Yeah, I think it feels really good, and obviously that's something that you kind of got to earn every day. Being at juniors, anything can change when it doesn't always go well for a while. So I think that's just kind of an everyday thing that you got to earn, and it's going out early at practice and staying late, but it feels good. And obviously, having them trust in you gives you a ton of confidence to keep doing the things that you do and that you love. So it's been good.
You guys had a crazy first round against Des Moines Buccaneers. What was that game plan going up? What was that game plan going into that series?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, you don't want to look past it because they're a good team and they play hard. And I think I just remember like our coach saying like, hey, like let's just worry all about us. That's kind of been our motto throughout all of it here in Waterloo too and heading forward. It's just all about us. And I think the biggest thing in Des Moines was it was game 2 and we were down 3-1 or 2-1 going into the third. I forget what it was. And we came back and then we won an OT. And it's just kind of that like resiliency group where it's like we're just so focused on kind of our process and how we do things, and eventually it's going to come through.
Game 2, because that was really crazy and very entertaining. You opened the scoring, but then Des Moines countered with 3 unanswered. Brennan Alley potted the game winner. How did that bring the team closer?
Yeah, that was wild. I think it just like kind of lit a spark in everyone to be like, oh my gosh, like we can do this, like let's go. But yeah, I think it was only a matter of time before Brent started to heat up a little bit, and obviously he had a big week here in Waterloo and scoring 2 goals in game 1. So I knew it was only a matter of time. The kid has a rocket of a shot, so I was like, yeah, like this doesn't surprise me. But no, I think everyone was just like, all right, let's go, and more people started to buy in and things like that. So it's all just kind of stemming forward from it.
When you get games that are blowouts, like we saw in game 1 against Waterloo, how important is it to stay focused on the team rather than kind of looking to pad your individual stats?
Yeah, I think that's huge. We had kind of a little bit of like a team meeting heading into playoffs where we did some stuff and kind of confronted all that negative energy and whatnot, and made a commitment to the boys and to the group. And so I think we kind of countered that problem head on before it started. And I don't know. I think in a regular season game, it might be a little easier to kind of look at that sometimes for guys, but I think in playoffs, or at least for our group, it's it's completely like, hey, like we got a job to do here. It doesn't matter. I remember after the game, our captain, or I was sitting next to our captain, our assistant captain, that are forwards in the locker room, and I don't know if they had a point in the 7-2 win, and they were like, yeah, like we don't even care. And just like seeing the buy-in from those two guys, it's like, all right, now like if they can buy in and do it, anyone can do it.
And that's
So that was pretty
right?
cool. Yeah, no, that says a lot.
Is now the next team that you guys face in the playoffs. They finished atop of the Western Conference. That like what's that game plan going up against? Obviously, you guys are hoping to slay Goliath in a sense.
Yeah, I think obviously they're a good team. They're a good group. They got a good coaching staff. They got a good culture, everything like that. So I think it's going to honestly be just a battle between two really good teams. I just know again, what they're going to preach to us in the room is just all about us. But I think for us, it's more about just playing our way. I think when all guys are buying into how we're supposed to play and things like that, really good things come from it. And again, maybe in game 1 it doesn't go our way. Just having that same buy-in for game 2 and game 3 and whatnot.
Well, it's never over until it's over, right?
No, 100%. It's even looking at the NHL playoffs, the Bruins like up 3-1 and they lose 4-3. So you never know.
Coming this summer, how are you getting yourself prepared for
that? For the what?
The draft.
Oh, yeah. I think honestly it's kind of in the back of my head right now, just with playoffs and everything. Obviously, it can be a little stressful at times with whatnot and talking to teams and things like that. But I think honestly, just where I'm at right now, my sole focus is on playoffs and wanting to win here, and all that external stuff will take care of itself after the season. So I'm just trying to kind of push it away for right now.
What are you going to do what are you going to bring to the team that drafts you?
I mean, obviously, that'd be in a while. So I think again, it's just continuing to work on myself and getting faster, stronger, and quicker. But again, I want it to be, my goal isn't to get drafted, but to play in the NHL and to play in the league for a long time. So, if for some reason it does work out that I get drafted, it would be pretty cool. But again, my goal is to play and not just get drafted.
You are listed on elite prospects at 6', 185. How much of your game kind of resembles your size?
Yeah, I would say a little bit. I think, I wouldn't say I'm like the strongest player on the ice every night, but I think my compete level and the way I compete makes up for that kind of stuff, and my brain and whatnot. But again, I'm not the biggest guy, I'm not the smallest guy, but I think I use my body well to influence the game and bring stuff that way too.
You are committed to the University of Nebraska-Omaha next season or in a few years. What did that, how did you come to that decision?
Yeah, so I remember like I committed so early. It was like 8th grade because the rule was changing in the NCAA. So it was like either commit in like the next 5 days or you got to wait 2 years.
Oh,
I was like, oh
really?
my gosh. Yeah, yeah. It was back right when the rule was about to change. And so um I committed on what? I committed on 4/19. So April 19th. And it was changing at the start of May. So I had like 10 more days to decide what I wanted to do. Um and my brother committed to UNO too. So he was a freshman this year, freshman defenseman. And so it was our dream to play together growing up. And obviously with him being there and whatnot, that outweighed every other school. So that's obviously I love the coaching staff too and the facilities there and whatnot. But obviously just playing with my brothers is the dream, and so we're excited to do that soon.
Advocated for UNO, to you so much,
Yeah, no, for sure.
you're gonna live out the dream playing with your brother. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And like growing up in Lakeville too, like so we're Lakeville South, but Lakeville North, they were the Paling brothers, and they all went to St. Cloud, and
Yeah.
so it's just like watching them play at St. Cloud together. We were like, that's what we want to do, and to now get the chance at Omaha, it's going to be pretty special.
Why do you wear number 11?
Um, to be honest, like I don't know. I mean, like there's not like a big story behind it. I think honestly, it was just like I kind of like the double numbers look. Um, and the captain here is 22, and last year I think it was like 11 or some other numbers that I just like didn't like, and I'm like, all right, like oh, I'm taking it, and I kind of started to fall in love with it. But the captain at UNO next year is still 11, so 11 won't be transferring there. But in high school I wore number 4, and my brother wore number 3. So then, whenever they would announce the teams, they would always go like number 3 Griffin Ludtke, number 4 Tanner Ludtke, which we loved, which we thought was so cool. But no, there's no huge story behind 11.
Will you end up trying to get a number higher than your brother next year?
Yeah, so next year, another number I grow worn up before high school was 7, and I love 7. Just I don't know, just kind of like the perfect number. But again, G7 at UNO, so it's like all right, my brother took that. The captain has 11, and so I wanted those two, and I was like, all right, screw it, let's just combine them. So I ended up choosing 71. So it's way higher than the number my brother is, but that's what we're rocking with next year.
Your style, you're already rocking 11. You're one of the best players in the league, statistically, looking at stats, and yeah, you just got to rock with it. You know what I mean?
100%, which is what I'm thinking. So we're going high. It's probably one of the higher numbers I've had, but again, like you gotta have a little of that swagger. And obviously, again, everything's earned at the next level, and it's gonna be a battle. But I want to bring some of that confidence too.
Who do you think is the hardest player to defend in the USHL, and why?
Oh, yeah, I hope this kid doesn't listen to this, but I gotta go with my Sam Renzel on Waterloo. We train we train together in the summers every Friday, and then we'll grab breakfast. But no, Renzi, I think just the way, like he's so big. Um, and I think like when he gets his speed behind the net on like a power play entry, like he can just kind of walk through anyone. And so being able to like set your gap and angle on him and like trying to force him one way, but then he'll cut the other way. It's like, dude, like how do you do this? So he's so smooth, but I would go Rinzi. Obviously, we haven't played really any of the East teams, so I'm not totally sure over there, but obviously they got some talent as well.
Yeah, I mean, Rizzo's one of the smoothest skaters in the league. Like he has to be.
Oh, 100%. Like there's a reason he went in the first round last year coming out of Minnesota high school.
Where is your favorite vacation spot?
Oh, my family, like we don't really have like a routine. We go to this place every year. But we've been fortunate to go on some pretty cool trips when I was younger. I would
Okay.
say um they took us to like, we took a family trip to Jamaica one year, and it was just unreal. Being over there for a while. But other than that, probably just going up to the cabin in the summers. Obviously those are a big thing in Minnesota, being on the lake and whatnot. So I love going up north.
In the off season, is it just kind of relaxing? How do you spend your off seasons?
Uh, for me, it's still a lot of work. Normally you'll get a workout and then a skate in every day, or at least a workout in every day, and maybe skate 3 to 4 times a week. And normally I try to be done before 2 in the afternoon with all my stuff, whether that's workout, skate, or some physical therapy on my hips or whatnot. And after that, then normally you try to go get on the golf course or get on the lake and things like that and hang out with the buddies. So I'd say it's a little mix of both, but obviously you got to get the hockey stuff done first.
Competitive at all when you do play golf with your buddies? There has to be, right?
Oh yeah, it gets competitive when we play golf. Like, I don't know. I'm always like the guy that like, I try to throw money on everything, because I'm like, once we throw money on it, like I start getting more competitive. If there's not money on like a sport like that, or like I'm not very good either way, it's like, all right, then I know I'm gonna lose. But I don't know. Golf will get competitive. I would say probably more than golf would be like spike ball or pickleball, because it's like so much more like active. So like you're tired too. So then like a guy will lose and he'll just get pissed and like chuck his racket at the ground or something. And it's like, oh, there goes your $60 paddle. But no, I would say a lot of them get competitive, where there's like fights for a while. We funny story, we actually have a we got like a little sport court in our backyard, and there's a basketball hoop. And I remember me and like 3 buddies were playing back there one day, and one of them was a basketball player, and like me and him were just getting into it the whole time. And like he ended up winning, and like he tried to fight me at the end of the game, like actually tried to fight me. And I was like, dude, like, you got to leave my house. And so he ended up leaving, and I was like, oh my gosh, that was crazy. But it was so
That's
funny.
a wild story.
Yeah, no, it was nuts. I was like, dude, congrats. Like, you won at your sport. And like, we'll still talk about it to this
You
day.
probably cream him at hockey.
Yeah. No, I'm like, dude, like,
What?
you play basketball, you beat me at basketball. Like, this is how
Yeah.
it should go. But
He's
yeah,
the
no,
heavy favorite.
heavy favorite, like by a mile. So no, it's fun though. Like, obviously the competitive stuff is, we all love it, but it definitely can get a little too competitive sometimes, probably.
Has to be one of like the best games for like competitiveness. I have to say, like, it's so much fun.
For sure. Yeah, no, we love it.
Of this interview here, do you have any advice for younger hockey players?
I would say just like, don't fall out of love with the game. I think at a certain point it can start to feel like a job sometimes. But just like truly just love it and have fun with it. And other than that too, growing up for me, like I was never really like quote unquote one of the best guys growing up. And so I think just like not getting too attached to all like the rankings and stuff like that when you're younger, if you don't make certain teams, it really doesn't matter. And just keep getting a little bit better every day, I would say. And it really will pay off if you take that approach.
Again, Tanner Ludtke for joining me on today's Pagcast. Thank you again, Tanner.
Yeah, thanks for having me.